Welcome back to the Roll Tide Rewind in 2025. We are here to analyze some Ty Simpson film. I'm your host, Thomas, along with Cole and Parker, all Alabama grads, all Roll Tiders in the house. But let's get into it. Well, before we get into it, I want to say Ryan is not here in a European trip at Latvia, and then James is out with COVID-19. He'll be back in 2 weeks, and he'll be good to go.
I thought he was wanted by the federales in Mexico. Am I wrong about that? I thought they posted his bail.
I think we were supposed to say COVID-19 for the audience, but I mean, we can be honest with them. Yeah, that's cool.
Definitely don't look up James Ogletree mugshot. Don't look it up. You won't find any photos.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's dive into the Ty Simpson film. So we will start off with some of the bad, like what went wrong, because Florida State game, that was the most important game Alabama's played so far. That was the game Ty dealt with the most pressure, and that's what we're going to see in the Georgia game. But we'll kind of also talk about the great stuff we've seen of Ty and how we would evaluate him against other SEC quarterbacks. But let's start off with the bad, the Florida State game. I was not one to say Ty was the person to blame for this loss. I did not think he played great, but I'm not going to also sit up here and say that he was the reason we lost this football game. But we will dive into film, and then we will kind of just react to these plays. There's 3 of them that I found that kind of were the ones that made us scratch our heads. But we'll start with this one. This one, admittedly, he gets pressured. He doesn't step up into the pocket like we'll see in some other clips this year. He kind of just bails and runs right into a defender, breaks out a sack, has another defender, is able to run faster than him, get around him, and then he has an opportunity to run here, get yardage, not going to get a first down by any means necessary, or he possibly could. You have 2 blockers, you have one guy there, and the first down marker's right there, but instead just skips it in the dirt. And I remember this play. Parker, I know you were not happy watching this play live. I'm going to call you out here.
No, I was very upset, and I want to get something out there before we talk about Ty, and it needs to be said. If you or a loved one was watching this game and you said or thought something along the lines of, why don't we have a different quarterback come in? You were correct. All right. There was no chance Alabama was coming back in that game after a certain point. There's no reason why you don't try something else. That being said, Ty Simpson is the best quarterback on this team. At this point in the year, to even consider starting anybody else is ludicrous. All right? He's the starter. It's also okay to say this isn't working. I want to put that out there. And you're right. I was very upset with this play because there's 3 different things you could do. You could run. You could throw to receiver number 1. You could throw to receiver number 2. To throw this ball in the dirt is a sign that you either maturity level or mentality level were not ready for the start of this game. And I think that that's a theme that we've been seeing throughout the fan base, throughout the team, throughout the coach, just talking about this game. It was a bad game. I think Ty Simpson was not ready for what came at him in this game, but I think he's taken the right steps, and I'm excited to see how he looks against the Georgia game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think you mentioned it. I think the Florida State game was bad, right? I don't think I'm breaking any news here. He did not play well. He was, as you mentioned, Thomas, not the only problem, not by a long shot, but he definitely did not make the plays necessary to potentially win that game. Since then, he's been almost perfect. So you hope that was just an outlier, a blip on the radar, his first start, his first
welcome to the league,
legit start. And you hope that he's put it behind him. He's going to play better against Georgia. We've seen some market improvement. The big thing I question with him, how is he going to respond? And I mentioned this on the Georgia defensive episode. How's he going to respond if he starts to get some pressure from this Georgia defensive line that's so talented? He's struggled with pressure a lot in this game. We're probably going to see a couple of examples of that. Can he respond to that? Can he hang in the pocket, make big throws, and make the right decision even when he's got a guy in his face?
Yeah, absolutely agree. This next play is where Parker was saying what he said. This is when I looked to my girlfriend and I was saying similar things. This, at the point of the game, 4th and 7, we kind of given up on kicking any field goals, giving up on anything else other than we're scoring a touchdown. And this play, Ty does a lot of good first steps. He gets there's nothing he can control right there. It's not like it's his fault he didn't step up into the pocket and make a throw quicker. Cam Dewberry gets pushed back, and Ty has to get out of there. Ty gets out of there, makes a great play, gets away from their fast defensive end. The play is in front of him. By in front of him, I mean, do you see this yellow line? And he throws the ball, but you can throw the ball. That's who's chasing him. Diagonal. Get that first down. And just throws it in the dirt. And we'll see better on this replay right here. The pressure gets made. Ty smartly gets out of it. But you see this open lane here. It's 4th and 7. You don't have to score a touchdown. You don't got to go 15 yards. You just need 7.5. And that's the first down marker. And he throws it to Ryan Williams, and just not a good throw. And that one frustrated me the most because it was a good, like you had mentioned, Parker, the maturity level showed right here. It just wasn't there in your first road start. But I'll let you continue, Parker.
No, and it's just real quickly. This is – you look at this play in particular, and it's so indicative of that first game, right? You have the foundation. You have the heads up. You know pressure's coming off the right side. By the way, that's a theme. I want to make that clear. Pressure's going to come on the right side, and Formby has to be ready. He rolls out. His eyes are downfield. After everything last year, he's on the sideline. He was trying to force feed Ryan Williams this whole game, right? Like, he was actively looking for opportunities to find number 2 downfield. We saw it the next week against Monroe. We saw it against Wisconsin. He's starting to get more comfortable with all of his weapons, especially Jeremy Bernard. I think Jeremy Bernard and Ty Simpson really have a sort of chemistry that maybe Williams and Simpson didn't to start the year. This is just something that has evolved. You're trying to force things week 1. This is an unranked team on paper. Nobody knows what this is going to look like. It's bad, but you learn. And I think that there's been a lot of learning, especially between the quarterback and some guys he's really starting to trust in, certain looks.
Yeah. And we'll go to the next play. The next play isn't like a terrible play by any means by Ty. It's a play that takes a lot of developing. And Caden Proctor, he had a rough game against Florida State, and it's not great when you're top 5, top 10 projected, first round projected tackle allows 6 pressures. That's just not going to bode over well. But you see, this is a longer developing play. Ty will have Ryan open on this play. He waits till Ryan breaks on the route instead of kind of breaking him on the route, because Ryan technically has him right here. Ryan has that open space right there to make this catch. Holds on to it too long, ends up being a throw kind of up in the air. Ryan would have been open here on a really big play, but it ends up being a play where Ty is not able to make the play. But this is it's on, part of this is on Ty, part of this is on, pressure not holding up for as long as it should, but also pressure did hold up for a while here. Ty had opportunity to make throws, but I think this play is it's designed to go to Ryan. But you also had Rico Scott right there immediately. This is a 3rd down too. Yeah. It's not, it's not 1st and 10 where you kind of want a deep shot. You want to just get the first down. And Rico Scott's right here. And Rico Scott, man, he's got some speed. He could run, according to them, 23.5 miles an hour over the summer. He's got speed. This throw goes to Rico. Lord knows what Rico can do on this play as you see what's upfield. Ryan makes one block. Rico could just be gone. He could house call it. Mm-hmm. But I think this is also like another maturity thing. He wants the big play, force feeding Ryan Williams, as Parker had mentioned. But now, as we talked about going in these next few games, you've seen how much he's gone to appreciate the other guys on this football team that can catch the football, and showed how great this receiving core truly is. But this is just the last play I could find that was kind of really like it's another thing Alabama has worked on since this game.
Yeah. And I think that was a bit of a theme in the Florida State game that hasn't really popped up in the last 2 weeks, and you hope it doesn't pop up against Georgia, was Ty Simpson really struggled, I think, to read the defense against Florida State. He was very late processing a lot of the time, and it led to the offensive line was not very good in this game, but I think a lot of their pressures were also because Ty Simpson was taking too long to process what the defense was doing. You saw it on that play, and I think you saw it a lot against Florida State. He's looked a lot better doing that against Wisconsin and Louisiana Monroe.
Yeah. We will go to – and also This is in the Wisconsin game. Ty only had 5 incompletions in this game. 2 of them were drops. This is one of the incompletions, which possibly could have been a hold on Jeremy Bernard here. But this play, I think he kind of wants to force feed it to Bernard. I think he's kind of looking at Bernard the whole way. Watch Latsier Brooks here. Watch what happens. He, for days, like this throw goes out now. It's Latsier Brooks. I mean, I'm not one to, assume anything. He's pretty fast. He looks like he runs they said he runs 23 miles an hour as well, like Rico Scott does. He can't there's nothing they can do. This throw hits in stride, even doesn't hit in stride. It's a touchdown. But Ty is looking at Bernard almost the whole way. And he has Bernard there, but also the ref being there doesn't do him any favors either. But Lockzier is wide open almost from the start of this play. Like right there, he's wide open. I think Ty's first option here looks like it's Ryan Williams based on where his eyes are looking right there. He's looking towards this direction. They have Ryan kind of passed off here on a short route. But if Ty just kind of trusts and looks at Lockzier, you see the safety bite up because they're thinking Ryan has this play, and he doesn't. Lockzier has this play from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just,
that's so hard.
Mm-hmm.
That's so hard as a quarterback because you're right. Thomas Williams is absolutely the first read, and you're kind of looking for this. It's called a Z spot. You're looking for the Z receiver to spot up super quickly, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to beat like a cover 3 in that soft spot. It's not there. He goes to his next read. If he stays there a little bit longer, then maybe he sees Lockzier open up. I don't necessarily think this is on Ty though. I think he's just going through his progression. But you're absolutely right. This is just one of those things that, as a quarterback, maybe you learn from it, maybe you don't. Because once he turns away to the quarterback, that looks like triple coverage, right? Maybe you miss that step from the safety. Maybe instead of watching him take 1 step forward, you're just going to assume he's going to take 2 back, and he's going to be lockstep with that corner out. There's not really much you can do here. I think that, and I talked about it a little in the defensive game, the defensive video, but the key to Ty Simpson as a quarterback, as a highly efficient quarterback, is you have to scheme as good as you can, because that is really where you make the most out of your margins, is good scheme plans and great play design for these hyper efficient quarterbacks. And here's a great example, because it's that spot. It's that 3-yard look for Williams. Okay, that's not open. Where's my 5-yard route? You see the cut outside. You see the 5-yard out route right there on the left-hand side. That's exactly where he's going to next. And then you look at Jeremy Bernard. So like Ryan Williams right side, 5-yard cut, look over the middle. This is really where you should be looking for, the guy on the corner route. Just totally misses it. But that's something that you go back in the film room. Simpson's a smart quarterback. He's absolutely going to be berating himself for this. I think this is something that Alabama's potentially looking for, especially, if that's Horton on the corner route or maybe on a post route, and we saw what Georgia's defense, especially the secondary, looked like against tall receivers. I think that there's just a lot to learn from this. I don't think that it's anything that can't be fixed, though. If you're a Bama fan, that's the good news.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We'll go into transition here. Looked at some bad things with Ty. Let's look at how scheming has worked for Ty. So we showed this play in one of the last videos as well, but I think one thing, I don't think Richard Young has been up to the expectation that he has had for himself this year. It was supposed to be our starting running back. He's now kind of been delegated to not the starting running back. But one thing they like to play Richard Young for is pass plays, not because he runs routes well, because he adds a layer of protection for Ty. And there you see it right there. But also, this is a scheme play too. We keep 6 guys blocking here. We have extra protection, so Ty is not maybe as flustered. We have an extra running back staying in to block. So we have 3 receivers running downfield. With a great scheme here, Lockzier starts, I believe he starts kind of in the slot, Bernard second, and then Horton at the top. Lockzier is going to run behind Bernard. The defenders are going to get confused trying to get to Lockzier, which leaves Bernard an easy route across the middle of the field, and he's going to be wide open almost every single time. But aggressiveness from Young here is very helpful. adds blocking layer to it, but also the scheme here is just an easy throw. Bernard's a great receiver. He'll create himself open, but if he's schemed open, life's going to be easy for Ty. And then you see it here, better view on the all 22. Bernard kind of but the defenders get confused, and that's all it takes. One little miscommunication in the secondary, and it's a house call for the offense. But scheming in this game, like Parker has said, is going to be very, very important, especially against a defense like Georgia. Last year, this is where Nick Sheridan kind of had a great game to start the game with his calls, even after the first drive. The unscripted calls were all great. That's where we're going to have to see it with Ryan Grubb. But also with the extra layer of protection that's helpful for Ty. One thing that Alabama does for Ty is they let the short passing game open up. And we kind of mentioned this when talking about Georgia's offense with Gunnar Stockton. It's so good for a young quarterback, by young quarterback, a newly starting quarterback, to get the short passing game open up, because that opens up a level of confidence. Even if, you throw a swing route, it goes for 20-something yards. Like, that boasts your confidence. You're like, okay, we can make this thing work and move downfield and create those bigger throws. So for Ty, I asked all this for Gunnar Stockton. For Ty Simpson, how big is it that the short passing game gets open for him as compared to Gunnar Stockton?
I think from what I've seen from Ty so far, he seems very confident throwing it to all areas of the field. I think this pass plays, as we mentioned in the previous video, the short pass plays are very good confidence builders. But I think they also can draw the defense down to potentially hit more of those big plays, big explosive plays over the top. Like Parker's mentioned a bunch of times, I think we've done a very good job at utilizing different areas of the field and using the short routes to open up the intermediate routes, to open up the deep routes. And I think that's what's really helped Ty in these last two games.
Yeah, but you see all these short passes. There's just like great things to get involved in the game. Now let's look at some of our favorite throws of Ty Simpson in the first few weeks. We'll start with this throw to Lockzier Brooks against Louisiana Monroe. I'll start off by saying this is one of my favorite throws that he's had. Richard Young is in pass protection, as you notice. But Ty steps into the pocket and delivers a great throw. This is what was different from the Florida State game. He bails in the Florida State game on this play. On this play against Florida State, he's bailing. Whether he runs into the defender or not, he's going to bail. This play, steps up in the pocket, makes a great throw, and an even great catch from Lockzier Brooks here too, who's a very important name to watch. He's looking like he's going to be a great player for us as well.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to add to that. I mean, you're right. You've pretty much nailed that analysis. Pressure coming on both sides. The halfback block is going to be such a big tool for Ty Simpson against this Georgia blitzing defense. Just how well does the halfback pick up the block? I feel like that's going to be directly proportional to the amount of success that Ty has throwing this ball. But, obviously you keep your eye downfield, you hang in the pocket, you go. It's not quite a 50-50 ball, but that's great coverage from the defender. Like, Brooks is not out free here by any means. Maybe he's got a step, but just, confidence is something that has been built since that very first wet, rainy, drenched, soaked, on the road, we now know top 15 team in the country.
Yeah, we'll move on to the next throw here. This throw was to Isaiah Horton to end the Louisiana Monroe game for Ty. This is where he finished 17 for 17, which crazy stat line, and even crazier, only had 5 incompletions the next week. But great throw into the sideline barrier here. 3-man pressure. He knows he has the time, but runs up and delivers a great throw on the run. Like we saw in the first clip in this video, him throwing on the run and throwing it in the dirt. Just kind of gave us really bad vibes when he's going to go on the run. But in this play right here, doesn't matter. Throws it from the 35-yard line all the way to the goal line, and throwing it across the field. So it's probably over 40 yards, easily over 40 of air yards there. And that's an incredible throw and a great catch to our biggest receiver, who we mentioned in the Georgia defense video. He's probably going to be a very important X factor for Alabama, especially in that game. But we'll look at the all 22 here. Ty progressing through reads, able to look downfield and see he has and that's not an easy window to fit that ball into. It's not like the defender's at the 20 and the other defender's in the back of the end zone. Like the closest defender, he's sitting at the 15, other defender is right at the goal line, and that's where that throw is being made. And that's just an outstanding throw by Ty Simpson there. And then
it's impressive. I'm sorry, I want to say this one thing. It's impressive that he made it, but if you're Ty Simpson, just the change from week 1 to this throw, like look at what he's doing when he throws this ball. He's on the run. He is actively moving. He doesn't have his feet set. His body is not properly turned downfield. He's in a very weird position, and he still lets this one fly. Maybe you like to see more fundamentals. I don't know. It works, right? It's hard to fault on it when it works, but this is a Georgia defense that's going to eat you alive, and the margins is where they win games against good teams. And so, I don't know. Maybe something to look out for. Throwing on the run for Ty Simpson has been it's been an up and down storybook so far this year.
And then I'll show this Florida State throw. He did have some good moments against Florida State. Everything against Florida State wasn't bad. This is on the second drive. This is on the first play of the second drive, I believe. This is just on a rope to Journey Bernard, and great awareness from Bernard to know where he is on the sideline. But I mean, an incredible throw. That's not the defender's right there. Like it's not like I said, it's not like Bernard has 5 yards of separation. He made separation by cutting to the sideline, but just an incredible throw to the end of the sideline there. I wanted to give him his props from the Florida State game. There were some good moments. But we'll transition into this next throw. Cole said this is probably his favorite throw that Tyson's has had. So I will let Cole take it away. But Cole, what did you like about this throw?
Yeah, so the biggest thing for here, and I've kind of brought it up a couple times, is that in the first game, I thought Ty Simpson really did a poor job when he was under pressure. I thought he got too antsy. I thought he got out of the pocket too much. I thought he made some bad throws when he was getting pressured. I thought he struggled a lot with it. But here he's facing a guy coming right up the middle, and he still steps in. He still makes an incredible throw to Ryan Williams, puts it where only his guy can get it. He doesn't back away. He doesn't try to scramble. He steps up. He knows he's going to get hit, and he makes an incredible throw. And I think what all these throws have kind of shown you that we've seen right here, I think it's hard to doubt that Ty Simpson has an NFL arm. He has an incredible arm. He's able to make maybe haven't seen him make every single throw on the field, but he's able to make enough of them. He's got a fantastic arm. So then the question becomes, mentally, is he going to be able to be a star for Alabama and at the next level? So far, he's kind of 2 out of 3, right? Didn't look very good against Florida State. He's made some much better decisions in the last 2 weeks, but he's got by far his biggest test coming up against this Georgia defense. But there's no doubt if he can make pretty much every throw on the football field.
Yeah, you can even see here on this other play to Ryan Williams, it looks almost the exact same play, except there's obviously not as much pressure, but a very big time throw here, throwing it to the opposite hash, opposite sideline, hits Ryan Williams in perfect stride, gets it to the only place where he can get it, and the defenders just have no chance there. And then we even seen on this throw here too, Cole loved this one as well, but it's a good play action. They bring some sort of a blitz. He has pressure, steps up into the pocket, and makes a good throw to Journey Bernard. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's kind of similar. It's a similar thing, similar theme here, but steps into the pocket it's just such a night and day difference from the Ty Simpson we saw against Florida State to the game even against Wisconsin, even against Louisiana Monroe. It's just night and day difference. I wanted to point this play out. I don't care that it didn't count. This is my favorite play of Ty Simpson this year. Cole had his favorite, but I have my favorite here. This play didn't count, but 9-day difference of Ty Simpson from Florida State to Louisiana Monroe. This play, offensive line does miss the blitz here. No one picks it up. It looks like maybe Vandermark. Well, I don't really know who's to fault because Cam Dewberry and Caden Proctor have to account for those two guys, and I think he just catches the blitz in the right spot. But Ty makes an incredible play, and I watched this and I just screamed in my living room. I was jaw dropped at how sick this throw was, sick this play was. But this just really just shows Ty's ability. This is what Ty is capable of. Is it going to happen every play? No. But is he capable of it? He absolutely is. And shame on the refs for ruining this play for calling Bernard for offensive pass interference. But it doesn't matter. Still 17-17. But incredible play.
Yeah, I mean, that's a truly unbelievable throw. Like, that looks like – I don't know if you guys have seen this, but for a while there, every single quarterback at their pro day made this exact throw where they roll to the left, throw it to a guy coming back from the right. And I think it was Zach Wilson that did it first, and everybody was so shocked by it that then every quarterback that came out after that tried to do it. And Ty did this in a game, and that's incredibly impressive.
And we all know what Zach Wilson's doing these days.
Okay, fair point. We don't necessarily want to compare Ty to Zach Wilson. Let's not do that. But that's an incredible throw nonetheless.
Just an insane throw. And then just Bernard just sitting there just waiting on it. It's a beautiful thing. One thing we'll end on here. I think what's going to be very important in this Georgia game is Ty's going to have to be able to make plays out of the pocket. If he's making every throw from inside the pocket, that means we have scripted up the best game plan on planet Earth. But that's just let's be realistic. Georgia's going to bring blitzes. Georgia has dudes on the defensive line. Georgia's going to be able to make plays. How is Ty going to respond? This play was incredible from the Wisconsin game. He gets pressured here. There's a misstep by Proctor. Proctor feel like he's trying to account for two guys here, and that's where your mistake is made into the offensive lineman. You just got to pick one and run with it. And Ty is able to bounce off Welcome Formby, and he's able to go make a play. He dedicates it from the get-go that he's going to run the ball. He knows he's running the ball. He's not going to even try to, like, against the Florida State, like even in the first clip. Let's even go back to the first clip here. This is against Florida State. It's night and day difference of kind of a similar play. He has to escape. He has to be able to make a play. And we see here, he's just kind of like, what do I do? What do I do? Throw in the dirt. Whereas here, it's he gets, I would say, more pressure on this play than the other play, but he's able to just kind of create and make a play. And that's what makes the great quarterbacks great, is how they improvise. Like, this is not a scripted play.
I think a lot of dudes bounce off a little.
How can you? How can you respond to the pressure? Like, what can you do? And even here, he makes a good move on the linebacker. He fools the linebacker there. Just the linebacker's trying to get him in that one stutter step that gets him, and he's able to make a better play, get more yards, and he's able to get almost inside the 40. But how important is Ty's escapability going to be against Georgia, guys? What would y'all say?
It's everything. It's the whole game, because even if you look back if you build a line with the best guys of the last 10 years from Alabama, even if you have Evan Neal at right tackle, Georgia's still going to find a way to break through. It's in their DNA. It's in Kirby Smart's DNA. If he being Ty Simpson can stay calm under pressure and keep his eyes downfield and not, make hasty decisions, he's going to be just fine. I think he understands his team and his capabilities in that system now a lot better than he did 3 weeks ago. I imagine there will still be a throw or two on the run that goes into the turf and bounces off. But I think he's going to have a lot better understanding of when to bail, when to keep his eyes downfield, when to step up in the pocket. It's something we've seen a lot. The pocket's going to collapse. It's everything for him. And in this game, otherwise, Georgia only has to defend 5 yards out. You might as well bring your safeties down into the box if you can't play on the move or if you can't operate in pressure. It's just not going to happen.
And we've mentioned a lot that hitting those short throws is a good way to get a young quarterback's confidence up. Making a big run is another way to do that. If you can get out of a 3rd and 7, scramble around and pick up a first down, that's a really, really good way to get some confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll end this here. Where do y'all rank Ty in the SEC right now among quarterbacks? If you want me to read off names, and you can also say, is he doing better than this said guy? Would y'all rather me do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do this or that.
Let's do this or that. Zach Calzada. I think this is an easy one.
Better than Zach Calzada. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about Jackson Arnold?
Yeah,
so
really
better.
Arnold.
I would say Blake Shapen. I would say better.
Yes.
I think he's better than Blake Shapen.
Let's do a good Gunner Stockton.
I'd still say Ty, but Gunner looked really good against Tennessee. If he looks the same way against us, I think that might flip. But right now, I'd still say Ty.
I'd still say Ty too.
Yeah, these next three are just wild to me to say right now with such confidence, but the other three have played so poorly that it's an easy answer. Arch Manning, Lenore Sellers, DJ Lagway. I think it's Ty.
Better, Ty better.
Yeah, I think those are tough. It's kind of a difference of who would I rather have for one game versus who would I rather have for the rest of their careers. If we're going for the rest of their careers, I think I'd take definitely Lagway and Sellers, and maybe Arch figures out whatever's going on with him and you take him as well. But I think for one game, I'm more confident in Ty than any of those three.
I wanted to elaborate. I said better, Ty better. I think Ty is better than Manning. I think he's a tie with Lenore Sellers. I think he's better than Lagway. It sucks when the Ty is the name and
it's the name of the quarterback.
Yeah. I think Ty is better than two out of those three, and I think he's equally as good as one. I'll be honest. I think the best quarterback in the SEC right now is playing in Nashville on Saturdays. I think he's looked the best.
I'm gonna say it. I think the best one plays in Norman, Oklahoma, and it's John Mateer. I think he's been the most
looked really good.
Player. I think he's been the most valuable player to a team this year. I think if it's obviously 3 weeks in, but I think if a Heisman was given 3 weeks in, it's going to be given to John Mateer. But also, I got to give him. Yes, ask me.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt, 5-0. Oklahoma, 5-0. At this point, the Michigan game is probably the big swinging factor. But if you exclude that, they probably have equal resumes.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Probably having comparable numbers.
I'll tell you this.
One's Oklahoma, one's Vanderbilt. It's a name thing in my eyes. I don't know.
Maybe I'm crazy. I'll tell you this. Vanderbilt goes at Alabama after Alabama plays Georgia. Vanderbilt will be 5-0 going into Tuscaloosa. Diego Pavia, you want to make a statement? That's the game to make a statement on. It's unfortunate. You just got to beat Alabama. If you want to win the Heisman, if you beat Alabama, that usually works in your favor.
They did it last year.
As Johnny Manziel, it works really well when you do it. But we'll do – I think Ty has definitely played exceptional ball in the past 2 weeks, but for him to be more consistently up in those top-tier quarterbacks in the SEC rankings, you got to do it in the SEC play. You got to do it against Georgia. You got to do it against Vanderbilt. It's weird to say you got to do it against Vanderbilt, but they're pretty good. You got to do it against Vanderbilt. You got to do it against all these SEC teams, and you also got to outcompete the other guy. The other quarterback. You got to outcompete Diego. You got to outcompete Bo Prabula, Joey Aguilar, Garrett Nussmeier, Jackson Arnold, John Mateer. You got to outplay those guys. You're not going to outplay every single one of them, but if you outplay most of them, that's going to bode well for Alabama moving forward. I think this is a good time to end the video, but yeah, I look forward to seeing how Ty responds against adversity against Georgia. But until then, roll Tide, and hope everyone has a great rest of their week.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.